class, it is Mrs. Gilling here, and we are going over your Lesson 1 video assignment, all about your focus notes for this lesson as well as your discussion. But before we do that, I got a treat for you. It's called the Joke of the Unit. Question: why were the early American settlers like ants? Answer: they lived in colonies. Get it? Like the 13 original colonies. The ants, they lived in colonies. Okay, let's talk about your focus notes. So you've probably had focus notes in other classes if you've been with iSucceed for a while, and you're going to have them here as well. And hopefully you find them helpful. And hopefully especially they'll be helpful with you for your discussions. So this is what your first focus note assignment is going to look like in this course. We're going to be using the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 notes in this course. So what you're going to do for this one is you're going to watch a video called The Columbian Exchange and Effects of Exploration, U.S. History for Kids. There's going to be a focus notes worksheet after this video that you can download. So you'll click on a link and you'll download it. And after you download that copy, you'll click here on your copy and it'll bring you right to that video so that you can watch it. As you watch the video, you are going to work on filling out this worksheet. And there's a few things that you'll probably answer when the video is over as well. So the first thing you're going to do while you watch this video is you're going to write 5 things you learned from the video. There's lots of great information in it. I'm sure there's more than 5 things, but pick 5 things that you learned from the video. After that, you're going to pick 4 things that you found interesting. Now, I know it's a temptation to be like, oh, there's nothing interesting in it. But you'll break my heart if you don't pick 4 things. If you can't think of 4 things that are interesting, think of the 4 things that were the least boring to you, if that's what you got to do. But you're going to write down 4 things that you found interesting. That's your connection part. That's you connecting what you're learning kind of to you and making it mean something. You're saying, hey, that actually was cool to me. The next thing you're going to do on our next slide, you're going to write 3 things you learned that you plan to tell others about. Now, again, maybe you're like, I would not tell anyone anything about history. I don't like history. I like math, which you might be crazy if that's what you said. But imagine you did. Imagine you had to go home and tell your mom or a friend or someone about 3 things you learned. What are the 3 things that you would tell them about that you learned in that video? And that's a processing step. That's you helping to internalize all that information. After that, you're going to write down 2 questions you still have about the topic you learned about in your processing. So in this case, 2 things that you still want to know more about with the Columbian Exchange. Again, you may walk away like, I don't have any questions. Think of 2 questions. There's got to be 2 things that you didn't understand in the video, or 2 things you'd want to learn more about. And then the last thing you're going to do, write a 1-sentence summary of the video. If you had to explain to somebody in 1 sentence what the video is about, write that 1 sentence right there. And that's it. You may need to maybe pause the video at some points to write things down. That's okay. Sometimes it's helpful to put the closed captioning on. They're all YouTube videos, so you can put the closed captioning on to see that. Now, the really cool thing about these are they're going to help you with your discussions. Now, I'll go into that in a second, but I want to show you how this particular one will be graded, the rubric. So you're going to get 25 points for writing down the 5 things that you learned. You're going to get 20 points for writing 4 things you found interesting, 20 points for writing down 3 things you learned that you plan to tell others about, 20 points for writing down 2 questions you still have, 10 points for your 1-sentence summary, and then 5 points for pictures. So that is something I didn't point out very much on my last slide, but there on the right, there's a little section that you can put pictures in, and I want you to. So you can either put pictures in each of those little boxes or a word, something that's going to help you remember what you're learning about. But you do need to put something in each of those boxes. So you get 1 point per box for a total of 5 points filling in that section there. So that's your focus notes. Now, those focus notes for this time are going to help you with this, with your first discussion. So here's your prompt. Please write at least 1 complete sentence for each of these questions. So there's 3 questions, so you're going to need at least 3 sentences total for this. Do not copy something from a website and paste it here. You do not need to do any outside research for these discussion boards. All the information can be found within the course and thoughts that you have. I'm really good at catching when students copy and paste stuff from the internet, like super good at it. So don't copy and paste something from the internet. I want to know your thoughts on this. I am not grading you on your grammar or your spelling on these. I want you to write complete sentences and share your thoughts, but that's it. So don't feel like you have to go grab this huge thing from the internet and paste it there. Show me your thoughts. So do not copy something on the website and paste it here. All discussion posts need to be in your own words, but you can refer to your lesson one focus notes for ideas because this discussion is covering stuff that you learned in that focus notes assignment. Again, why you don't need to go and do outside research. So question number one that you need a complete sentence for. What was one positive effect of the Columbian exchange? Question number two. What was one negative effect of the Columbian exchange? And then my favorite question, question number three. If you could go back in time, that should say in instead of and. See, teachers make mistakes too. If you could go back in time and prevent the Columbian exchange from happening, would you? Why or why not? So the really important part in that question is the why or why not. Don't just say yes or no, say yes because. This is where you get to share your opinion on whether you think the Columbian exchange was a good thing or a bad thing. This is how this discussion will be graded. Here's the rubric here. So you get 30 points for writing one sentence on a positive effect of the Columbian exchange. Make sure it's a complete sentence and that you're listing it something that actually involves the Columbian exchange. You got to be able to back it up. You get one sentence on a negative effect. You get 30 points for listing one sentence on a negative effect of the Columbian exchange. So just like with the first one, it's got to be something that was actually a negative effect of the Columbian exchange, but it only has to be one sentence long. And then you get 40 points for your one sentence opinion. Do you think if you could go back in time, would you change it or not, and why? You get a little extra points because there's a little higher level thinking involved there, right? Because you got to really think for yourself. Do I think this is a good thing or not? But that's it. Once you've completed those 3 sentences, then you are done with your discussion board. So hopefully this video is helpful. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me. I'm more than willing to help you. One quick note on those focus notes, you have 2 options there. You can either type them in your Google Doc, or if you like, you can print it out and write on it or write it freehand. As long as you're getting all of the required information, that's what's important to me. So again, if you need anything, let me know. Other than that, good luck with your assignments.